League One's first season is entering its second half. Here are 3 storylines for you to follow to keep it spicy. The first one, I think, is the most important one coming off of last week is Madison coming back into the fray?
Come on, baby. Let's go. This is finally what I've been waiting for, is Madison to really look like they honestly are trying to win. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times I watch them, it looks so... It just doesn't look that motivating. They don't look like they're really out there and they're playing... I won't say playing tough, because I don't think that's right to say, but it just looks like they've been getting outclassed recently.
Yeah.
But this past week, I mean...
2-0.
2-0, you win against... You sweep Austin, and you beat Omaha in 4. I think those are just really good wins to just get out. And honestly, just snapping that loss streak is huge for them.
Yeah, they've been on a major loss streak before this. The last time they won was in the second week of League One.
Yeah.
So it wasn't looking great for them, but I think this also is like kind of coinciding with Annie Drews Schumacher getting healthier. She's playing back row, front row, both now. I think before she was sitting out for back row, they were switching her out. Now that she's playing both, her arm swing is back. She is looking good, and it's really elevating Madison like back up there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knew that Annie Drews was one of the best right sides. You could even argue in the world, just because of how strong the U.S. is. And, you know, it's always been her and Jordan Thompson kind of competing. It's been kind of weird recently, like with their lineups in the U.S. Who do you have as your top right side? But obviously Jordan Thompson has gone out there in this league and has shown that she should be the top one. But Annie Schumacher has been climbing up lately as she's gotten more healthy, and it looks like she's been getting more comfortable with the offense. And she's been taking some really big rips, and she's been able to help this offense.
Yeah, I think you can tell that she's really getting healthy now, because honestly, Madison was coming into the season, they were expected to be one of the top teams in the league. So to see them at the bottom of the league for so long, to go winless for like 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It was super weird. I think everyone was kind of in shock at how they were playing, how not great they looked. But they're really putting it together as of seeing last week. They're looking strong. They're trying to figuring out their defense pretty much. And I think the lineup is getting more and more secure, so things are looking better for them.
Yeah, I think the move to Malika Medved as the libero, I think has helped their defense a lot.
Yeah, I'll say that I think that really helped their serve receive in particular. I think Wang Ximin was like a pretty good defensive libero, but on the serve receive especially, she was not taking like proper control of the court, and the way that Madison was playing before, they kind of needed her to cover for some of the outsides where it's like, whether it be Chassé or Sarah Franklin, it's like you kind of need to cover some of their space, and I don't think she was able to do that. And Medved is kind of stepping up and taking that serve receive role very, very well.
Yeah, and defensively, she's been holding up. I think that's been one big thing that's been helping out Madison and being able to compete. But then obviously you have to say the offense has been a lot better. I feel that you knew that Carlini can set the heck out of the ball, right? She's going to give great sets to her hitters. Now it's just, can the hitters put the ball down?
Yep.
Obviously with Annie Drews healthy, she has been able to put the ball down, and there hasn't been an issue there. But to me, honestly, it's been pretty surprising that they've been getting the middles a little bit more involved, and it's been looking good.
I think that helped a lot, because even if Annie Drews was healthy, if they were running no middles, they can sit on Annie Drews a little bit more. The outsides haven't been the greatest for Madison, even though it's looking more up, but they haven't been the greatest. So it's really good to have the middles a lot more involved.
Yeah, I think the middle play from Madison might have been the lowest in the league for a while in that skid.
Yeah.
And I think now Anna Hall has been getting a little bit more comfortable with the sets and with the offense. I think the offense has honestly been able to build a little bit more, and it's just been supported up now with the middle play.
Yeah, I think that also comes back to the passing getting figured out amongst the team.
For sure.
It's just making them able to run the middles a lot more, and any out-of-system balls are pretty much getting set to Annie Schumacher, and she's still able to get kills with them, so it is crazy.
And if I had an ability to create a player of the week, I would give mine to Chassé. I feel that the lineup with the outsides has been really weird.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been struggling with figuring out who their best outsides have been. Obviously, they started with the season with Chausse and Sarah Franklin, but they've been moving them around a bunch. They've had Santana that she came in, and she ended up going down, and now you had to figure out who else you're going to put in there.
Yeah.
Jennifer Janiska has been really good defensively for them.
Janiska has been pretty much their defensive outside.
For sure,
she is almost like a second libero for them. So
Yeah.
it really, really has been good to see her on the court full time.
Yeah, but I feel that Chausse has always been able to provide energy for this team with her play. Obviously, I think her efficiency is always going to be kind of rocky just because of the errors that she has.
Yeah, it's the nature of her play style, kind of.
But she's going for kills. So she's going to have kills or she's going to have errors. And I feel like in the Omaha game was definitely one where you saw her, she didn't start, but then once they threw her in, she's going out there, she's swinging. She's trying to find the floor. And she was able to score a bunch of points. She brought some energy to them. And even in the Austin game, I thought she still had a pretty decent game where she still dropped, I think it was double-digit kills.
Yeah, it's always going to be the efficiency that ends up being the problem just because the errors happen and lower it. But she gets kills, and I think when she gets those kills, it really brings energy to the whole team, and I think it's kind of infectious. So that's kind of what Madison has needed. And before, I think maybe when she was in, it could have been a struggle because maybe her passing was a little bit weaker, but I think they're figuring out the coverage. They're able to cover for her passing-wise a lot more, and she's just coming in. She's able to swing, and it looked great.
Yeah, and she's been stepping up passing-wise because actually you saw her, at least in my opinion, when you saw her in the beginning of the season, she's actually one of the best passing outsides, which I was surprised with. But then you kind of saw it towards the middle of the season where you could see her definitely struggling, and that definitely hurt. But she's been picking it up. She's been decent in serve receive, so I think that's kind of the most you can ask for from an outside like that. And I think the other big thing that we have to talk about is just with Sarah Franklin. It's kind of difficult to see what's going on here.
It's weird that it feels like from the two games, the two wins of theirs that we just saw, it doesn't feel like Sarah Franklin has a place on their court right now.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting because if you look at the stats, honestly, she is still their top kill getter. Obviously, she was taking a step back when Annie Schumacher has gotten healthy, but in terms of outsides, she was the one really getting kills for the team. She had been carrying the offensive load for the first 7-8 weeks of this entire season. So it's super weird to see her go to the bench right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to think about what's going on in Matt Furbringer's head now and what you can really do for a lineup, because obviously you could say, let's run out Chausse and Franklin again and just see what happens. But it's kind of hard to say when you just won 2 games. And one of them, I don't even know she played that much. So it's how can you figure out a team that...
Well, Sarah Franklin got subbed out for Chausse, and then that's when I feel like you could see the stark difference in how the team looked.
Yeah, I think it's, how can you find a way where if you do want them both in, because they're both really good outsides, but it's how can you make it work with the defense and the passing? And, honestly, sometimes you can't have a good game from both of them. It feels like you're getting one good game from Sarah Franklin, but Chausse is either not playing or she's not doing too much. She's not doing too well. And then sometimes you have it the opposite, where Chausse is doing really well and Sarah Franklin, she gets subbed out. So that's kind of just one thing you have to figure out here for Madison going forward.
Yeah, I think that will be, obviously, in terms of Madison coming back, that's a big, big storyline. But the other storyline is seeing what's going to happen to either Sarah Franklin or Chausse or both of them, because I don't know how much we're going to see both of them on the court at the same time anymore.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what he's thinking.
Yeah. So
if you can even sustain that, to have both of them out there, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's a super weird look. Honestly, I don't think anyone can predict what's going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see, and that's why it's a great storyline. Our next storyline to talk about is Houston and how they are still looking dominant when all of their starters are playing. I mean, I think coming into the season, people expected them to be good, obviously, but no one expected them to be top of the league, winning the Classic, just being what looks like the most unstoppable team when they have their full roster playing.
Yeah. I think they definitely have one of the best all-around teams for sure, where offense is really good, defense is still solid, and they're a pretty solid serving team as well. So it is difficult to kind of see like, what is going to happen, where I think they're definitely a contender.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's, what's going to happen at the end of the season? Because I think you definitely have to put respect for them that they're top 2 right now. So we'll have to see what goes on.
I think another interesting thing that's going on with them is that, at least for the past 2 weeks since the Classic, they've been resting their players kind of. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they just lost 3-0 to Salt Lake, but when you see that none of the starters are playing, it's like, okay, like that's a fine loss, I guess. It's weird to see on the record, but it's okay.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting with all the resting that they're doing, but hey, maybe this is kind of the way that you have to play out this League One season, and maybe they'll be able to still come out strong towards the end of the season. Maybe it works out. Maybe this whole strategy, whatever, it works out for them.
Yeah, I mean, if they can keep their top seed, one of the top seeds, it should be fine. Everyone makes the playoffs, so it's fine. It's just interesting to see how they go from here. I mean, if they're saving up the energy of their players, kind of load management style.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have the healthiest roster going into the finals or the most energized roster, maybe this is just big brain strategy.
Yeah. I also like to say that I think that Maddie Rischel and Jess Merzick have been honestly one of the best outside duos in the league, for sure.
I think Jess Merzick was definitely the biggest surprise because realistically, coming right out of college, no one expected her to adapt to the pro level this well. Because, she is one of the top outsides in the league, and it's not to say it feels weird, but it is a little weird that someone coming right out of college is competing with these other international level pro players.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think people really thought of her as this tier of player until they went on the run to win the national championship.
Yeah, for sure.
To be honest, everyone was thinking Maddie Skinner, Lexi Rodriguez, and these are like the top players that we're looking at to go towards pro. Obviously, Maddie Skinner already did that, but to see Jess Merzick and how calm, cool, collected she looks, and she looks like she's a vet right now with the way that she plays. I mean, her passing has been solid. Obviously, she has her off nights, but
I think she's actually playing like incredibly energized and like hard effort defense, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think Rischel and Merzick have maybe they're competing for maybe that top defensive duo out there. Like you have to say Kelsey Cook has been super solid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to say that, but they've been really, really solid for them for sure.
So Houston, I mean, they just have a lot of positive things going for them. They may go up and down in the rankings as it seems like they're resting their players, but they're definitely one of the top teams to watch for contention at the end of the season.
Yeah. And one more thing, I think it just helps that you have a middle that has been only getting hotter, and she's been just gaining more and more momentum. Ember Igidi has been looking much better and better every time that she's stepping on the court. I think that helps this Houston offense and defense just so much more. I think they look so much more solid blocking at the net. And she's been getting a lot of kills for them recently.
Yeah, I think she is now up there in the conversation for like best middle blocker of the season for this League One league. Like she's been that good, and this is a league that has Chiaka Ogbagu, considered one of the top middle blockers in the world right now in the league, and she's up there in contention. So that just proves how good Amber Igidi has been.
Yeah, Houston's looking real hot right now.
Yep. So definitely one to keep looking out for, and we're kind of going to see how they keep evolving as the league goes on. Everyone is fixing things, moving around, and Houston's still looking great.
Yeah.
All right. The third storyline for League One volleyball is kind of that Omaha's slipping. It's really weird to see because they for sure are the team that everyone came into this league and was like, Omaha, they are the Nebraska reunion team. They look good. They will be one of the top 2 teams, if not top 1. And as the weeks have been going by recently, they're looking worse and worse.
It's been odd because actually that whole idea that they're going to be top 2 was working until the Classic.
Yeah.
Going into the Classic, they were top 2 seeds, so they got the bye. But ever since the Classic, it hasn't been looking very good for them. I think they've just been looking a little slow recently. Yeah. And again, we kind of been mentioning it out this whole season, but their offense has been something that's been struggling. And you can see that with all these games that they're struggling to put the ball on the floor. And their defense has been able to hold up, obviously, but can they actually score offensively? I think it's been a big struggle for them.
Yeah, it's super weird. I mean, obviously, you think that it feels like on paper that they have a great offense too, but when looking at what's happening, game by game, the offense doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't.
And I still don't fully understand why.
Yeah, it's just it looks like you can tell that they want to set Drevniak as many balls as they can.
Yeah,
and they even made a lineup change where they put Maddie Kubik-Banks in over Jaylee Winters, and she's had her moments here and there
for sure
where she's definitely been looking pretty good. But it's definitely tough to see that you're relying on your right side to carry. But to be honest, I don't know if she's on the tier of the top right sides in the league.
I think she is up there, but it's just something else with the rest of the offense. It's weird to see because you feel like Kubik-Banks gets kills. Obviously, Jordan Larson gets kills from time to time. Maybe not as strong as she once was, but it feels like she's still getting kills sometimes. Emily Thader, I mean, I think she's also looked great. She looks like one of the top middles in the league. So it's like, listing all these names out, it sounds like they should have a really great offense.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like Drevniak has been the only constant that she's been able to play well for pretty much all of their games.
Yeah, and they're relying on it.
Yeah, and now it's just, can you have other people chip in to make the offense at least passable while your defense can still carry your games?
I think you can see that Drevniak's usage is getting so high that you can kind of see her getting winded during matches, and it's like she's a young player, and to get her winded, I don't think it's a conditioning issue at all. I think it's a usage where it's every game they're playing back-to-backs. They need her to be taking at least bare minimum 30 swings.
Yeah.
Even if it's a 3-set match, 30 swings at least. So it's just so much reliance on her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know. We've talked about it for other teams where you really want that dominant right side presence. I think she has it in her, but it almost feels like the help isn't coming from any of the other offensive positions.
Yeah. And I'll take that back. I didn't mean to say that she's not a great right side. She definitely is. I think it kind of hurts because she's not as physical as some of these other right sides where you have Jordan Thompson, you have Annie Schumacher, where their reach is insanely high, and they hit the ball so hard. And obviously they've been doing it for so long because they've been playing in the Olympics. But, can you help your right side in ways where she doesn't have to be carrying such a heavy load, where it just makes it where she can be more efficient? Your offense is just that much more difficult to defend.
I guess at some point you have to start questioning that if the passing's good, it feels like they have very capable hitters. You kind of have to start questioning, is it coming from the setting portion of the team? Because I think that they do have good setters, but sometimes I don't know if there's some sort of misconnection, but it could also be Jordan Larson gets tired a lot. She doesn't want a full swing on every ball, but she's tipping a lot. Drevniak definitely has some misconnections where she has to set the ball over, tip. And I think it happens a little bit more often than other teams where there's some sort of weird connection going on from setter to hitter. It's obvious. I don't think it's causing too many missed points. The ball's not missing them so bad that it dies, but it's like they're not getting good offensive runs. And I'm sure if they had obviously if they had even stronger attacking like hitters, those other hitters would be able to do something with the ball. But with the personnel you have, maybe it's a little bit on the setting, but you can't really make too many changes roster wise. They're using both setters.
Yeah. And I think giving Coach Fritz some credit here, she has been trying out both setters.
Yeah.
Even when you have Gabby Blossom, you probably don't want her in the front row to block.
Yeah.
But she's been trying it just because she's trying to figure out ways to get good hitter-setter connections, and it's still been a little shaky. So
yeah, and obviously I don't want to put it fully on the setters because I think that it's a two-way street.
For sure.
It has to be something between the hitter and the setter together. So I don't exactly know. They are like usable balls most of the time. So
yeah,
sometimes the hitters do have to do something with it.
Yeah, now to me it's just the question, is Omaha going to be able to level up in the second half of the season? Just because, Houston's not going anywhere. Atlanta has still been solid throughout the whole season. Now it's just, can Omaha still hold on? Can they still improve throughout the season here?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, they're going to have to try and break this 5-game loss streak because it includes the Classic, and it's just not looking great for them. 5 losses in the season's not that long. 5 losses, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think, you have to question, is Austin going to be able to catch up? Because at this point, with the loss streak that they're on, Austin is starting to look pretty decent. They had their moments for sure. So now it's just, can Omaha still find a way?
Yeah, I think especially it feels like every other team in the league is kind of like improving as the season goes on. Things are getting better and better for them. And Omaha's the only one where it feels like they're kind of regressing.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's regressing.
Yeah.
I just feel like, other teams are leveling up and they've kind of just been where they're at.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the season. Obviously, they've gotten a little bit better here and there, and like chemistry for sure. But all these other teams, I feel like you see there's a lot of bright spots as they're going into the second half of the season. And Omaha, it's hard to find them.
Yeah, I think pretty much this just means that Omaha is one of the teams to look at, but not for the best reasons because they're meant to be one of the top teams, and they're not looking like it right now. So can they put it together?
Yeah, we'll have to see going forward.
So, yeah, I think it's time to move on to the NCAA men's.